It's just not my, no. No. Mm-mm.
I was shocked.
Like,
Jess, there are cameras in every single bedroom that are watching you 24/7.
I just watched the finale. This was such a fun season. I don't know if fun for both of you the whole time, but I know, Ciara, Austen called the trip with you a 10 out of 10. How would you rate this trip?
Well, you know, I will rate the trip in a whole, like a 9 out of 10. I will rate me and Austen like a 1 out of 10. So like, but I'm glad that he thinks so highly of us.
Right. Amanda, how would you rate this trip?
I had a great time. I would say it was like a solid 9.5. It wasn't perfect, but we had a good time.
Had a good time. And we saw like a tamer Kyle in the house this season. What was that like for you?
It wasn't even like tamer. It was like he was less stressed. So he was like more zen. Like he was still partying and having fun, but like it wasn't like aggressive fun. It wasn't like you must party kind of fun. He was just able to like really enjoy himself, which was like such a weight off my shoulders. Like or off my chest. I was like, this is wonderful. I can enjoy myself. You're not stressed. I'm not stressed. I could be be myself and have fun. And it was wonderful. And I think it was
definitely. I mean, what was it like? You know, obviously we had some new faces this season with Corey, with Jess, with Rachel. How do you feel like they fit in and gelled with this dynamic group, Ciara?
I definitely think they did a really good job meshing in with this group. Obviously, like we've known each other for a while now. It's hard coming in as like a new person, but I mean, Corey fit in instantly. I feel like sometimes it's a little easier for the guys, but even like given the hiccups with Jess, like we still really loved having her around, and Rachel was just like great. Like they did such a good job of like not like kind of sinking into a shell, but also still putting themselves out there, wanting to be like being integrated into the group. Like it was honestly so great to have the girls get along, you know, for most of the trip. Despite the hiccups you see with Jess, like we all really got along, which was great and so refreshing, especially coming off of the summer that we had. Like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for like a better girl dynamic on a winter vacation. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, watching back the season, Amanda, do you think anyone really was a mean girl to Jess, or do you think she just kind of got into her head a little bit?
No, and I don't even think that she got in her head. I think it was just, I mean, talk about like using the wrong words. I think that she was having a hard time fitting in. And I think that she's a little bit like me in the sense where she was a little more uncomfortable, like inserting herself into the friendship and like barging into bedrooms and just like coming in and joining conversations, where Rachel was more comfortable and confident, just like inserting herself and including herself. And that was a little harder for Jess. So in that sense, she felt left out. And I can understand that, but no one was being mean. Yeah. She just kind of felt excluded, but and she's admitted it too, like her own insecurities of feeling not excluded, because we were like, Jess, we would like invite you into places or like look for you, or, you know, we'd have like one-on-one conversations with you. And she's like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know, maybe I didn't mean it that way. But I understand where she was coming from. It is hard to be a girl or just anyone and insert yourself into pre-existing friendships. It can be intimidating.
Definitely. Ciara, what was it like watching back some of those romantic scenes with her and Corey? I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, this is getting a little X-rated for Bravo there.
You know, I didn't watch them. I am just no. It's just not my, no. No. Mm-mm.
I can't.
Shocked.
Like, Jess, there are cameras in every single bedroom that are watching you 24/7. Like we're reminding her.
Yeah. Like my mother would disown me if I ever, and I mean, she wasn't happy last year. I told her like before the first season of Winter House came out, I was like, just so you know, like I slept in the same bed with Austen. I didn't do anything. And she was highly bothered and annoyed. And so I just no, I can't. And to be quite honest, like I don't even want to watch myself. Mm-hmm. I'm sure not my friends. Couldn't even get through the hot tub scene last year. That was, you know, I lived it and I did it, some of it. not to that extent, but like I'm good on that. No, I don't want to.
I'm totally good. Is it tough to watch back, seeing her just kind of like so into Corey and him kind of just being like, well, this was kind of like a winter house fling? And do we know what the status of their relationship is now?
Well, to be fair, I will say Corey was into it as well. I don't think it was fully just Jess. I don't think that like that's sometimes like the theme of our shows is where the girls are so much more into it than the guys are, and that's not the case. Obviously, we're getting it from somewhere. Like, so
and I feel like every girl has been there, but Jess was just like very vocal and open about it, like true to his face. Like every girl has like found a guy and been like, I really like him. Like,
right.
I think we're dating. Like, I don't know if we're dating, but she just happened to be confident enough to be like, hey, like, I like you and I want to date you. And this is how it's going to be.
And they saw each other for a few months after. They were in New York together. And then he went to LA a few times. So
the distance was hard for them, but they did give it a try for a while after.
But he wouldn't have traveled to LA if he like wasn't into her. So, and more than one time. So,
well, that's good to hear. I mean, do you guys still keep in touch with her, and would you want to see her back and Rachel back for another season?
I actually got dinner with her a couple of days ago, like last weekend. So honestly, I'd love to have her back. I think, second time's a charm. First time's a little rough. Second time is so much better. I would personally be thrilled if she came back. Rachel also, but, I could see where she's like, I'm never doing this again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to have both of them back. Rachel, I feel like is, no pun intended, just beginning to blossom. No little flower pun, but I feel like she has like so much more like of her to show and for people to learn about her, and you're really just scratching the surface. Jess as well. I think they were both like great girls, and we had a really fun time over those short 2 weeks.
Definitely. Yeah. Ciara, you mentioned before about Austen saying that it was a 1 out of 10 type of trip with him, but how are things with you guys now? And I really love the fact that, when he apologized to you, you're like, you know what, I'm just keeping my distance. I'm keeping my space, doing what's best for me at this moment. I thought that was really great. So how did the distance go after that? And what's the status of your friendship now?
The distance is still there. I'm very much still high and by. And I think that that's the extent of our relationship. I don't really feel like we'll probably ever really have a relationship. Personally, for me, I don't trust him. So, but I do think he's a good guy and he's great for someone. And like, I truly do wish him the best. I just I don't need it in my life.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, I feel like the bridge has already been burned. So, yeah.
Do you feel like he was surprised by that reaction?
Who knows? And quite frankly, I don't care.
Amanda, what did you think of the way Ciara handled that?
I think it's great. I think, I wish I had that like just confidence and ability to communicate the way she did and really just lay it out there and set those boundaries. And I think she was like right in everything that she said. Mm-hmm. Austen just needs to grow up. He's capable, but just not right now.
Yeah, he has great moments, and I'm not taking that away from him. When we are really getting along, he's great, but it's like the flip side of it isn't pretty, and I won't be around for it. Mm-hmm. So
did he try to reach back out to you after Winter House stopped filming?
No, and like, look, we saw each other at BravoCon. Like, we can be in group settings together, no problem. Like, we had the Winter House premiere party, BravoCon. Saw him a couple weeks ago in the city with like a restaurant opening, and we can be around each other. It's still high and by. Conversation is to a minimum. I personally don't need to do a catch up, but that's kind of it. And I think that that's okay. It's evolved in that way, and I don't hate him. I don't have a distaste for him. I just, I like myself a lot more. So.
Definitely. Do you ever regret calling Olivia a simple bitch at all?
I definitely do. I think I was just lashing out at that moment. Obviously, I was like seeing red in terms of the whole situation that happened with him. I definitely did not even mean to bring her name into it, and it really had nothing to do with her and everything to do with Austen, and I shouldn't have even said that to her. I think she's lovely.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, you opened up about some tough moments this season as well, obviously talking about your baby journey this season. I mean, how's that going now? And I'm sure it was a difficult moment for you to open up about, especially on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I was really expecting to talk about it. It just kind of came out because it was weighing on me. We're still going through things and figuring things out, but we fortunately still aren't like really ready to start trying. So I'm glad that, I went off birth control when I did so that I can figure everything out now. So that when we are ready, we know like what actions we have to take or what the plan is or what's going on. It would have been, really disheartening to immediately go off and start trying and hitting all these hurdles. But right now, we're still not ready. We're very busy and very happy with our work and our dogs. And when we are ready, my body will hopefully be ready as well.
Definitely. Oh, I wish you guys, when you are ready, the best of luck. Definitely. How are Paige and Craig doing? Obviously we saw kind of ups and downs in their relationship during these 2 weeks, but it seemed like they left, stronger than ever. But how are they doing now?
Definitely so good. I mean, Craig was definitely on one.
Yes.
Definitely on one the first couple weeks, annoying out of all of us. But he just needed to like time to adjust. And I think that now he kind of understands, like when we were there, they were still so new in their relationship. And now I feel like they know each other so much better and they are more adjusted to kind of like what makes each other tick. So, Craig was adjustment period.
He also was able to turn it around so quickly within those 2 weeks. He didn't need to wait to see things air and play out to realize what he did wrong or how he acted might have been inappropriate. Like in the moment, before he even watched himself back, he was able to check himself. And I think that's huge. And the two of them have only grown since then, closer and stronger. So I think, we all have our little bumps in our road, but Craig is not following in Kyle's footsteps of chaotic boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, Craig was definitely used to just like being accountable for himself. And now he's finally realizing like, okay, well, my actions actually do bother my significant other. I need to like chill out. So that's great. And honestly, he's a little peach, if I do say so myself. Amanda, I probably lay him his toughest critic. So.
Yeah, totally. Amanda, do you see Paige moving to Charleston or vice versa?
I mean, I can see her moving down there. I don't want her to. I don't want to support that move. But I think that, she would do great. I think Craig would get lost in the city. I think
Craig needs to come to the city.
I want that too. That's what I want.
Yeah,
we need to toughen him up a little bit and get him to move here. We'll figure it out.
I was like, he needs the tough love of a big city where he is not a big fish in a small pond. And I mean, that will humble you in itself. Like,
yeah. But Paige is like, I feel like Paige will follow in her mom's footsteps of like these amazing like dinner parties and plate settings and all of her holiday events. I think that's what Paige wants, and she'll get that down south.
Definitely. For sure. I love it. Amanda, a lot has been said about you and Lindsay and the Andy comment about who is rude to Cass and things like that. Can you set the record straight on all of this? And where do the two of you stand right now?
We don't stand. We don't stand. We haven't spoken at all. Listen, you sit in that seat on Watch What Happens Live and you play these games and you want to be entertaining and fun and silly and spill the tea, and you don't always think, it's hard to think on your toes in that moment of how everything you say might affect people. I would have never said what I did or agreed with Andy if I knew that it would have upset and hurt Lindsay as much as it did. I feel bad about that. That wasn't my intention. I was just trying to, like spill the tea or be shady or whatever it is. But I didn't even say it. I didn't say it, okay? I stared at that screen and I was going to easily be like, no one here. I was done after that.
Yeah.
And he kept going and he kept pushing and I was like, okay, maybe. Yeah.
So no communication after that then?
No, but she was wonderful from my experience at BravoCon, and she's been wonderful to fans at all the Loverboy events. That was never what I was saying. And she's right. We would have never, ever, ever let her go to a Loverboy event if she was rude at them. And she's not, so.
Ciara, Jason recently said that you and Lindsay were the rudest. So let's set the record straight on that one. Who is the rudest in the Winter House, and what was your reaction to that?
My reaction is still like I'm rolling my eyes. I mean, I filmed one show with Jason for 17 days, and like the length of time, we're not even there long enough. So it's just kind of like, okay, I mean, if he feels that way, amazing. I definitely encourage anyone that I've been mean to on our cast or crew to like come forward, and like, or if call me out if I've ever been mean to them. I really try my damnedest and try my hardest to still be kind and nice to our crew members. And like my relationship with producers are different, but we're supposed to have a certain rapport in order to film the show, because it does take a lot of trust. Like, I'm putting out my story and I'm telling parts of my life. And so it is give and take. And I don't always agree with producers, but that doesn't mean that I'm being rude or whatever. But, whatever Jason's take on me is, I'm like, okay, cool, I guess, he wouldn't be able to tell me how I am on Summer House. So whatever.
You were going through a rough 2 weeks at that time. There was a lot happening.
Yeah, a lot going on, I'm sure.
We were airing Summer House and filming. We had tension between cast members, and like, I don't know. I do find it weird though, because I've never had any, any type of like disagreement or anything with Jason. So I was kind of very much out of the blue, I felt like, for our relationship, but you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. After watching everything back and seeing how it played out, do you still question the timeline of Carl and Lindsay's relationship and whatever happened with Austen the night of the wedding?
None of it is relevant. It doesn't matter. They're happy. Like, that was something that was brought up that we all talked about because they were coming, and it happened on camera. So we have to, discuss it. And in a real... I want to say, like, in a real situation, we would have never spoke about it that much. No one cares. Mm-hmm. I think it was the timing of things too. I think that it was a little shocking because at the time stuff was playing out with like Austen, Ciara, and Lindsay on Summer House.
Right.
So we're watching that. We're feeling those emotions again. And then you hear this news also, and it was just kind of like shocking. Not in a negative way, just like surprising, I should say. Mm-hmm. But none of us thought it was weird that she like slept in his bed. They're friends. We were just like, whatever. And the timelines don't necessarily matter. Their relationships have overlap. That's not like an uncommon thing. I think it just was like how much overlap there was of friendships within the house that the conversation.
Totally. What do you guys think about Luke and Ashley Darby?
I saw them together once, very briefly, and they seemed like they were having a lot of fun together. I have not been around them enough, but I think it's fun. He's seen her a few times. They've hung out a bunch, so I hope Luke's ready to be a dad. Right. I think he'd make a great father.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a great guy.
So Amanda, what was this summer like for you compared to others?
Definitely, I think it was lighter. It wasn't really, I wasn't planning a wedding, so I was really enjoying myself for the first time in 3 years. Mm-hmm. It was good. I think it was more, about friendships for me this year than it was about my own relationship with Kyle, which was different. It was a different kind of summer, but not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah, it seems like there's some fallout of friendships this summer too. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about Danielle and Lindsay. Was that a surprising friendship that you saw? I don't know if it's ending by any means. I don't really know what happened, but was that surprising to you?
It was. the way things were handled were, a little bit surprising, especially as the summer went on. I don't think any of us expected certain conversations or things to play out the way that they did.
I think we definitely could have predicted it to be different, but the outcome was kind of like a 180 from what we thought. So,
and there's a lot that like a lot of conversations and discussions that we're not privy to that we'll also be watching unfold and getting a better understanding of what happened instead of like she said. So we'll all kind of just have to wait to see.
Yeah. Ciara, what was this summer like for you compared to others?
Well, I actually had a pretty rough summer. So it will be interesting to see how that all unfolds. I'll just say it was a rough summer. It was definitely like a summer of like self-realization, kind of trying to figure out, where I'm at, some mental health moments. It was a lot, definitely still in my quarter life crisis.
Are you dating anybody now?
Dating people, no one like in particular, not that I'd even ever reveal, but yeah.
Well, Amanda, Ciara, thank you both so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.